we're going to be talking about how to send your stream to multiple sites like Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook all at the same time by multi-streaming in this video. Specifically, the cheapest way I've found to do it in whatever streaming app you're using without overloading your internet connection. If you're not familiar with multi-streaming, it essentially broadens your reach by sending your stream out to multiple sites instead of just the one. This has become a pretty popular strategy recently, with many even recommending canceling your affiliate contract with Twitch in favor of multi-streaming. The main reason being more exposure is better, so why not blast your stream out to as many stream providers as possible. But I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of whether or not you should multi-stream in this video, so let's talk about how to multi-stream in OBS. And this advice should work in any streaming app that you're using. I'm just using OBS for this example. But before we talk about that, though, I think it's important that everybody understands what an RTMP server is. So some computer has to receive your stream so that others can view it. And RTMP is just the agreement between your PC and that server on how to transmit your video. You can go off digging more into how the RTMP protocol actually works, but I think that's all you really need to know for this video. Alright, so let's get into how to actually multi-stream. So a couple of popular options are restream.io and an OBS plugin called multi-rtmp. In this video, I'll show you a third option, which is to host your own RTMP server. So let's get into how each of these works. So first, restream.io. So Restream hosts an RTMP server that you stream to, and then they'll forward your stream on to any number of streaming providers that you wish, literally wherever you want. Last I checked, they are up to 30 different places you can stream to. This is by far the easiest way I've seen to get started and has some of the best features I've seen. However, great services cost money, so if you don't want their watermark on your stream or you want to stream to Facebook, you'll have to pay $16 a month for their service. Which leads me to multi-rtmp, which is a plugin for OBS and is a free alternative to restream.io. Basically, you install this plugin. The plugin will run an RTMP server on your PC, which will do the same thing, forward your stream to any number of service providers that you wish. This is a very cool alternative, but has one big problem, and that's your internet connection will probably struggle with this. And the reason is, the broadcasting is all happening on your local network. So if you're streaming to 3 different providers, you're uploading 3 copies of your stream. Some people's internet can handle that, but many cannot. So if you have a fiber connection, you'll probably be fine, but slower internet connections will definitely struggle. So think of it this way, with a standard 720p 60 frames a second stream, getting multi-streamed to 3 platforms, you're uploading 4,500 kilobits a second times 3, which is 13.5 megabits a second. If the upload speed you're getting from your internet provider isn't greater than this, you're going to have an issue. So what can you do if you don't want to spend $16 a month for a restream and your internet upload speed can't handle the multi-rtmp plugin? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward to host your own RTMP server in the cloud, which is effectively doing the same thing Restream is doing, just on a smaller scale. You can do this with a service called Linode, which will run your servers for you on their platform for a monthly fee. And fortunately, it doesn't take too much computing power to run an RTMP server, since all it's doing is forwarding network traffic, so you can use their cheapest option, which is $5 a month, to set this up. And their upload speeds and data caps are pretty reasonable, so you shouldn't run into any issues there. Alright, so here's how to set this up. It might look a little complicated, but it's really just 3 steps. We're going to create a server, install some things on that server, and then configure them. So let's take a look. After creating your Linode account, you're just going to go create your server, choose an operating system. I recommend Ubuntu, and then choose the region closest to you. Then you have to choose your Linode plan. You could choose the smallest one. That should be plenty to run your Restream server. Set up a password, and as you can see, it's only $5 a month to run on the smallest plan, and then create the server. Then you just need to log into the server using the web console, so we can install the packages needed to run the Restream. And I'll put up all the commands to do this on the screen here, but for copy-paste ability, I'll also put them in the description. And if you're struggling following along with any of these commands, they're also listed out on my blog post, which is in the description below as well. So all we're doing here is installing Nginx and its dependencies, which is going to forward our stream for us. And once that's done, we just need to configure it. So in order to configure Nginx to forward our stream, we just open up the configuration file. I'm using Vim, but you can use whatever editor you like. And if you're not familiar with Vim, I'll link an introduction on how to use it in the description. So here we just need to put in the configuration for the RTMP service that we installed. I'll link a sample configuration in the description, so you can just paste it right in. But basically what this is doing is just setting up the Restream service. The key piece to all of this, though, is in the application block with the push directive. Here you're going to put push and then the URL of the destination you want to forward on the stream to. So that would be Twitch ingest URL, the URL you get out of your YouTube console, wherever you're trying to forward to. So you can put a line in here for as many services as you want to forward to, but start small with a couple and see how it's working out for you. But before we forward on these streams for real, we should test it out using VLC. So I recommend commenting these push lines out, and then we'll go set it up and test it. One important thing to note is that anytime you change this configuration file, you need to restart the Nginx service for it to pick up the changes. So if you're not seeing your new stuff take effect, make sure you've restarted the service. After you get all that set up, you just need to start streaming to the new server you created. So head over to the detail page for your server, grab the IP address, and we'll put that into OBS. So in the OBS settings under stream, you just switch the service to custom. We'll put in your server IP address and the URL that we created. So that'll be /livestream. You'll notice that livestream corresponds with the name in the application block of the configuration that we did previously. And then for stream key, you can make up whatever you want here. Just don't share it with anybody. And that's it. So then just hit start streaming. I've got a little sample clip here for testing. And you can test it out in VLC by going to the network tab and putting the RTMP URL for your server right in there. And if everything is working well, you should see the stream show up in VLC. That's all there really is to it. So after testing, you can go back to that configuration file, uncomment out those push directives, and put in your actual destinations that you want to forward to. Everything should work just fine. One thing to note is that if you want to stream to Facebook, they only support streaming on RTMP-S, which is an encrypted version of the same protocol. And in order to do that, there's a little extra configuration you need to do in order to get that working. And I have more information on how to do that in my blog post, which is linked in the description below. I think this is a really cool DIY alternative to multi-streaming, so hopefully this video was helpful. If you agree or disagree, or if you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know in the comments, and good luck streaming.